Because if I were to tell you that Brendan O'Neill has come from a Trotskyist, Marxist trajectory, was formerly a member of the Revolutionary Communist Party and wrote for the party's journal, Living Marxism, all of you out there who up until now have been saying Brendan O'Neill, this right-wing commentator who's now just encouraged riots on live television and is backing the right-wing Boris Johnson for a hard Brexit, he comes from a communist tradition, wrote for Living Marxism, was a Trotskyist Marxist, was a member of the Revolutionary Communist Party. That's Brendan O'Neill.
The first point here is that Maajid is trying to claim that O'Neill is exactly the same as Corbyn because he has his roots in a form of Marxism, i.e. Trotskyism. However, these Trotskyists, their history, and many people know more about this than me, I'm not an expert, but essentially they fled Stalinism and came to the United States and set up neoconservatism, the neocons, the likes of Ben Shapiro, Stephen Crowder, these are examples. And so they will attack now, of course, the blatant insanity of the left, the social justice, feminism, identity politics, the transgender education to children. They'll even oppose abortion, and it looks like they're actually on our side. However, what they won't do, ever, 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 is criticise Israel. They will never attack that nation, that beautiful democracy in the Middle East, and they won't notice certain patterns with a certain set of people having a lot of control over the world. They won't even go near that, and they'll attack you as an anti-Semite. Something else they will never discuss is the importance of demographics for majority white Western nations. They will never talk about the fact that we are so-calledly being replaced. Instead, they'll actually say, this article last year, 90% of English people say being English is not about skin colour. This is great. This means that the Brexit people, we're not racist. In fact, we are tolerant and open. We are tolerant because tolerance is a strength. And so, yeah, this is what they push for our people. And what they don't push, of course, for Israel is the same. Their people, they can celebrate identity, but not our people. We have to just accept being anything. We're values, we're love, we're decency, but not about identity. Now, I will say that you could compare these two in the fact they kind of support the same agenda. You have on one side Jeremy Corbyn supporting open borders, mass immigration, millions and millions of third world people flooding in. And on the other side, you have O'Neill, the likes of Spiked Online, and many other publications like that, where they say now, once these people are in England, they are now English, as long as they feel like they're English. They wear an England flag on their face. They go, yes, England at the World Cup. And so, yeah, they're kind of, it's almost as if they're both working in cahoots. Both sides are controlled by the same set of people who we can't mention. And by the way, those set of people, they are allowed to have their identity. We're not. We have to accept anyone coming in. But yeah, the main point is, besides that kind of whatever, O'Neill is not the same as Jeremy Corbyn. And so this comparison is kind of stupid, but again, it can kind of be made, but not in the way Maajid is thinking.
Now, revisit the sentence I mentioned earlier. If you go far left enough, you sound like the far right and no one can tell the difference. You would be forgiven for not knowing any of that the guy was a Marxist if you heard the audio knowing he's supporting Boris Johnson for a hard Brexit. And that's the point I keep making. There is no difference between Corbyn and those on the populist right. They are populists. They will use the state to coerce and control. When violence is needed, they will also encourage that, because they are ideologues. And ideologues don't care about the status quo and preserving it. They care about destroying the status quo because they want revolution, whether they are populist revolutionaries on the far right or populist revolutionaries on the far left. So come to expect the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's Corbyn or Boris Johnson. Both want Brexit. It doesn't matter if it's Brendan O'Neill, who is a Marxist, supporting a hard Brexit and now saying he thinks riots should happen on live television, or somebody who's a member of the EDL, now defunct. It doesn't matter. If they're saying the same thing and you can't tell the difference, that is the political horseshoe. There's a reason, and I'm not calling Brendan O'Neill this, by the way, to make it very clear. What I'm about to say does not apply to him, but there's a reason that the Nazi Party were called National Socialists. There's a reason that Oswald Mosley, when he set up the British Union of Fascists, prior to that was a member of the Labour cabinet, not the Conservative cabinet. And the reason is, if you go far left enough, it's like a horseshoe. You end up at the top, and if you go far right enough, you end up at the top, and nobody can tell the difference between you. And up until now, many of you may have thought that the man that founded, in the 1930s, the British Union of Fascists was a right-winger. No, he was a member of the Labour government. In fact, he was the Duchy of Lancaster for the Labour government. When he defected to set up the British Union of Fascists, he defected from the Labour Party. And so it's incredibly important we understand this. And when we hear these sorts of this sort of incitement, calling for riots, whether it's the far left wingers or the far right wingers, it is totally unacceptable.
The reason this guy is repeating the same nonsense of the horseshoe theory and attacking the commies and the far right is because he knows if this violence increases, if you have riots and attacks between both sides, what could eventually happen is some sort of revolution and one side takes control. And if that's the communists, this guy is a hardcore Zionist, and many of these commies, like Corbyn, they support Palestine. So under that regime, he would not do very well. And again, if the far right, the fascists or something like that, if they took control, again, him being a Pakistani Muslim, he would not do very well under that either. So this really is purely about self-interest. He knows under globalism, which we currently exist, or kind of Zio-globalism, that's his best bet.
Of course, those who are globalists, such as myself, would say in the long term it's better for the economy. But of course,
that's how he succeeds as an individual. This is pure self-interest, narcissism, that's all it is. He does not care about people being killed in violence or riots. It's just, I want what is best for me. And the way he and many of these people want to achieve this is by giving the Goyim a simple message. Lay back, relax, watch your Netflix, masturbate to your porn, play your video games, eat your junk food, and smoke your cannabis. This guy is a massive supporter of legalizing cannabis because he knows that is yet another way of pacifying people to accepting their eventual eradication. That's it, basically. Don't fight back. Acquiesce to your ethnic cleansing, to your replacement by the third world. That's a good guy now. That's a good guy. So, anyway, please let me know your thoughts on this. And is there anything more stupid than this commie far-right horseshoe theory? Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe. Please comment. Ilu Sassoon. Peace out.